Hello, everybody. Okay, so story time for today is going to be about this time I went on a date. Now, as I mentioned before, I live in the country, so the only places really there's some little towns around where I live, and those are small towns. So for us to even be able to go anywhere to find restaurants in our area, it's like 40 minutes one way. And this guy, he lived, I think it was about an hour and a half away. And he wanted to go on a date. And this was in the summer. So we had to make it in the evening. Okay, so he came out and we went on this date. And after we had went out and got something to eat, we decided to stop by this park. And it was by the river. And I think about maybe, I don't know, after being there for a little while, I had to pee like really bad. And I said, oh man, I said, I don't know if the bathrooms are open, because in our, I don't know how it is in cities, but in our little towns, you know, when the park closes, usually they close those bathrooms, they lock them up at night. And we walked over, and of course it was closed. And I was like, man, I said, I really gotta pee. I said, I'm not sure I can hold it. Well, of course, since the little town we were in, it was late, there was nothing open. So there was no bathrooms nowhere. And he said, if you want, you can go on the other side of the car, he said, and just go. And I was like, normally I wouldn't. I said, but I really do have to go. I said, so I think I'm going to have to. And the little section of the park that we were at, you couldn't, I mean, there was lights, but it was kind of dark, so you couldn't really see. So I was like, okay. So I go on the other side. I said, just stay over there. I said, don't come over here. He said, oh, I won't. Well, all of a sudden, I get to peeing, and I heard this noise, but I wasn't really paying much mind to it, because all I cared about at that point was emptying my bladder. And after I heard this sound, it was like a screaming sound, but from an animal, if that makes sense. And all of a sudden I hear feet moving really fast, and it was this guy comes on the other side. I was like, what do you do? He goes, get in the car. Now, if you ever tried to stop peeing mid-pee, you know how hard that is. So when he had been respectful all night, so I couldn't understand why he would be over on the other side of the car, you know, unless, you know, and when he said, get in the car, I had to try to stop mid-pee, and I'm running to the car, and trying to pull up my pants, so I'm running to the car. I jump in the car. Now, I don't know why he didn't just jump in the back, but he didn't. Instead, he was trying, like I said, you couldn't see. He was trying to get to the other side of the car to get back in the car. And when he finally did, he flipped on his lights. And what do we see? A baby deer. Okay, now what had happened and what that scream was when because we couldn't see, there was a baby deer, and it was little, and it was with Mama. Mama was, you know, a couple feet away, but the baby had apparently got spooked and seen him and went to run, and when it went to run, it smacked up against that little tree. And that's what that squaw was. It got scared because it ran to the tree and took off running, and it scared the crap out of him. And he didn't know what the hell it was. And that's why he scurried over to my side, took off running, and told me to hurry up and get in the car, because he didn't know what it was. And I'll tell you, I've heard a baby scream before, a baby deer scream before, but like I said, I wasn't really paying attention because I just had to pee so bad. And he didn't know what it was. He didn't know if it was some kind of vicious animal or not. And I said, oh my God, I said, he said, I about crap myself. And I said, Do you know how hard it is to stop mid-pee? Oh, I'm sorry, he said, but I didn't know what it was. And I couldn't see it. It was too dark. Oh, my goodness. But that is definitely a date that I will never forget. But anyway, that's my story time video for today, and I will see you all next week. Bye.